NT loop, one arm, overhead or shoulder press. Pretty basic exercise, but this will challenge you, even if you're advanced. And you want more of a resistance challenge, the red NT loop is the lighter of the two. Use the blue NT loop, it's the heavier of the two. Now, a couple key points with how this is set up. You may notice, you might be kind of wondering why I'm standing in this funky position. Why don't I have my feet straight and underneath my hips and all the things you read in the book says the standard anatomical alignment for everything, right? Well, if I had my feet hip width apart, and this was out here, the band is pulling me inwards. See that? It's actually pulling my wrist that way. I want this force vector, that's the resistance, that's trainer nerd term for resistance, underneath my elbow. I want it in line with my forearm. If I go like that, what does that do? Now you see why I do that. So from here, I want the band in line. Elbow always stays underneath the wrist. The wrist, turn to the side, stays straight like that. Turn this way so you can see. And it's going to go straight up, back down. Now let's just talk about some basic form cues. And we'll get back to the benefit of the band. You want to be able to do this without that. So you have to have that prerequisite overhead shoulder range of motion. And of course, you don't do any exercise that hurts you. So if it gives you pain going overhead, which happens to some people, obviously this is not the exercise for you. Now, why use the NT loop even if you are at a beautiful gym like this where you have access to all the equipment you could hope for, dumbbells, kettlebells, whatnot. All those pieces of equipment are fine. But there's an additional benefit to using a band, the NT loop band in this case, and that is accommodating resistance. Here, where I have the least mechanical advantage, the band is giving me the least tension. But as I extend my arm, this is the easiest part of the range. If I had a dumbbell or kettlebell, I could hold it there for a while. This gets heavier as I press it. So as my elbow extends and I'm gaining a mechanical advantage over the load, this accommodates for that by increasing in tension. So, dumbbell or kettlebell works well. This works, I would say, even better because this gives you more productive range of motion because it matches your strength curve. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you can't get great benefits from kettlebells and dumbbells. Please don't misunderstand. But there's benefits to using bands, especially an NT loop, whether you have dumbbells and kettlebells access right there or at home when this is all you got. So it's not just for beginners and it's not just for when you can't use free weights. Also, for you sports coaches out there or for you athletes, you can do what powerlifters call dynamic effort training, which is just nerd term for fast reps. Here. Now, if I did that with a dumbbell, the dumbbell's going to want to travel out of my hand. But a band stays with me the entire time. So now I can work on what some people would call speed strength. Again, powerlifters call that dynamic effort, just means fast. To change the demand a little bit and work on that, not just force production, strength, but rate of force production, which is how fast you can produce that strength. That's power. So you could do this for reps, 8 to 15, maybe a little higher, maybe a little lower, depending on your strength. Or if I'm going to go for speed, I would do it for time, normally about 8 to 12 seconds. Last tip before I let you go. The elbow gets right between the NT loop. So not only is the NT loop anchored directly underneath the elbow is right between here. So that way as you press, it stays there. So you don't want it to hang that way and pull your arm back.